Hey guys, Bios Ramos. And tomorrow, the Miami Dolphins will be facing the Las Vegas Raiders, a part of the Week 3 matchup at Allegiant Stadium. 4:05 p.m. is the kickoff Eastern Standard Time, and the game will be on CBS September 26th. Now that all that is out of the way, let's talk about the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins did not look good in their last game against Buffalo Bills, getting shut out 35-0. There was some chances that the Dolphins had to score, even if it's to put up 2 field goals. Uh, Probably would have felt a lot better than putting up just zero. But I understand, you're kind of in this dire situation. We got to get a touchdown. We got to get a touchdown. Like I said, we got to score every time we get the ball, and they didn't do it at all. But enough of that. We all know that Tua Tagovailoa is out with a rib fracture, and he could be out for 3 to 6 weeks. So that definitely sidelines the offense's progression with Tua, especially adding guys to the rotation now with Will Fuller coming back. But something that I need to emphasize is the Dolphins' offensive line needs to step up. There's some changes already have been made about we'll see when it comes to game time the official lineup. But yeah, they're already saying this guy's out, this guy's in, stuff like that. It was pretty embarrassing to see what the Dolphins put up on tape last week, but that's besides the point. Now Jacoby Brissett did not have the best of the game either because let's admit it, he held on to the ball a lot. And by that, I mean, he tried to take off and run too many times. And when he started getting pressure, he would tuck the ball away, which is good. Ball security is job security. But aside from that, you're already down so many points. You just got to force it. And hey, if you turn it over, I mean, it's bound to happen at some point. But if you turn it over, it's not really going to hurt you at that point anymore. But it could turn into a big play. You never know. But that also goes to the Dolphins receivers. Weren't getting much separation. The offense just was horrible last week. But let's talk about the Raiders. Raiders are 2-0. They started off, had a wild win against the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football Week 1. And then Week 2, they go to Pittsburgh and beat them on the road. And Pittsburgh, I'm not saying they're a really good team, but they're one of those teams that are up there because they have a really good defense. And defenses could carry you a long way, especially in this offensively driven league now that it is. Their offense is lacking right now, but I think they'll catch on to what they need to do and we'll see what happens there. So these are the keys to victory. Last week it was 3. This time it's 4 because the Dolphins need to do so much more in order to get this win. So first and foremost, like I mentioned, they need to protect Jacoby Brissett. Last game he was under lots of pressure. Before I even go to the keys of victory, Tua's obviously out, and then for the Raiders, Josh Jacobs, running back, is doubtful. Richie Incognito, guard, Dylan Levitt, safety, and Roderick Teamer, safety. They are both out. All 3 of those guys are out. All right, now back to the keys of victory. Protect Jacoby Brissett. Last game, the Bills were living in the backfield. They had like 14 QB hits, and like 3 of them were just on Tua. So Jacoby Brissett was just getting destroyed too. As far as that goes, he was, like I mentioned, he was under a lot of pressure versus the Bills, and the Raiders have a decent defensive line that could replicate that type of feeling, and they have Jonathan Abrams who can fly around and probably go back down in the backfield if he really needs to get to the quarterback. So those are things to look out for when going against the Raiders. As far as that goes, though, the Dolphins more than likely put an emphasis on that during this week, and now we'll try to execute it, protect the quarterback, pick up on these blitzes. Some of it, and most of it is not just on the offensive line; they're just protection screen off running backs and tight ends. Just sometimes couldn't block players or just were in the wrong spots. Bad play calling, whatever you may want to call it. It just was horrible last week. Next, still on the offensive side of the ball, need to move the chains, get first downs. The Dolphins were able to get a few first downs last week, but it would always end horribly. Turnover or down and out, fourth down and not converting. So the Dolphins need to establish getting the first downs this game. They need to find their identity on offense, and that's my third key: establish an identity on offense. When Tua's out, we need to probably rely on the running game more often. I know Jacoby Brissett's a pretty good quarterback, but we need to get that running game going because Myles Gaskin had a mediocre, decently year last year. Uh, those words didn't even make sense. But yeah, he had a mediocre type of season last year, and he wasn't really good, but he wasn't really bad either. So going into this year, I hope to see more out of Miles Gaskin than just having 74 yards through uh, 2 games. So I wish he would have that at least maybe in 1 game. So, and that's not entirely his fault, but sometimes he does miss a hole. So I think if we can get this offense moving, there's a possibility the Dolphins can beat the Raiders, but it's very slim. Last but not least, fourth key to victory is forcing turnovers. Yes, the defensive side of the ball. Dolphins have had, I think, 24 straight games with a turnover, forcing a turnover defensively. So continuing that streak, and when you force turnovers, you can definitely help out your team and possibly set them up for success in terms of putting them in good position. The Dolphins got 2 back-to-back turnovers that put the Dolphins within the red zone, or at least within the 30, and no result because they kept on going for it on 4th down, or they turned over the ball in the red zone. So that's about it. I'm excited for this game. Hopefully the Dolphins could win. Last year when the Dolphins played the Raiders, it was the face mask miracle that Fitzmagic threw to Matt Collins. This year, probably not going to be the same, especially don't have Fitzpatrick. Matt Collins is not playing as much because we have so much depth at wide receiver. Aside from that, it should be a fun game. I'm hoping I could watch it. I will be possibly doing a soccer broadcast. But aside from that, I'll probably have it on the side, to be honest, if I'm doing the soccer broadcast. But if not, I'm going to be watching it for sure. So let me know what you guys think. How can the Dolphins come back from this horrible 35-0 loss against the Buffalo Bills? And video is going to be uploaded later today of the NFL game picks, so go ahead and check that out. And yes, you'll probably see me wearing the same jacket or something. But yeah, we're recording it today. So yeah, go ahead and check that out. And thanks for watching.